Hello, we're here with Clarke Otter McNeace, our VP Flight Ops and Standards. Otter, I get a lot of questions from our customers asking how soon should I come back for training? What have you seen about retention?
Yeah, that's a great question. Interestingly enough, we have seen that retention of the skill sets, of the upset prevention and recovery skill sets, is definitely perishable. We see in general, based on our investigations, that the skill sets are going to 80%, roughly 80% of the skill sets will be retained for about the first 18 months. They're going to start to drop off fairly rapidly in that 2 to 3 year mark after initial training. And around 3 years and after, they're probably only going to retain around 50% or less of those initial skill sets that they developed. So, that being said, if they can come every year, that would be ideal. But certainly budgets, we know, are a big concern. So we definitely recommend about every 2 years, 2 to 3, hopefully at most.
Right. So basically, the retention skills will lower every year, but if they come back in 2 to 3 years, that would probably be best.
Yeah. In fact, what's interesting is when they come back for a recurrent program, it's really neat to see how quickly those skill sets get upgraded and refreshed again. We see that based on the initial training that they get, it's really all a function of the initial training. Because the initial training here is so comprehensive, and they're getting the specialized academics, and they're getting 4 flights that give a building block approach, all right, and designed for repetition to proficiency in those skill sets. Because of the robustness of that initial training, again, the retention of the skill sets is long lasting. Now, it would be nice, if they came back for a full program again, they would even be better. But we don't see it's actually necessary. They come back for 1 day and 2 flights. And we see, again, with a refreshment in academics in that 1 day, they go and fly for a first flight, and then we come back and debrief how it went, debrief the mistakes, and then they get a chance to go back on the second flight, correcting those mistakes, and ending that 1 day recurrent actually not only very confident, but competent as well. So the recurrent program, because it's 1 day, it can be 1 day again because of the comprehensiveness of the initial program. If they never went through our initial training here, if they went through initial upset training somewhere else at another company somewhere, we don't recommend they just come to our recurrent program because they're not familiar with the methodologies, even the recovery strategies that we teach here. And so we really need them, if they've never been through our initial program, they need to go through ours in order for them to really be able to take advantage of that 1 day recurrent program.
Okay, so we have a 1 day recurrent base program. How many flights would you recommend though? Would you recommend just the 1 day 2 mission or anything else?
I think the 1 day 2 flight program is very effective. They can do that in the prop airplanes, prop aerobatic airplanes, the Extra 300 or any of our others, but the Extra 300, or they could do it in the jet, the Marchetti S211, or they could do one of each, the prop airplane first and then the jet. If they have the budget and they can stay another just half a day, they could do some enhancements to that one-day program, such as high altitude jet profile in the Marquette. We can add on more instrument recovery training as well, more spin training if they wanted to get more aerobatic type training, or even formation training. So that additional half day, adding on another flight, we see is, again, just another great way to just continue to embed and ingrain the skill sets that, again, are designed to be transferable to their airplane type, their environment, and all of that, and to be long lasting.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.